Three Faces, live from the center of the galaxy. This is Force Center Show about Star Wars, pop culture, and all three of us together like family. I'm Ken Napsok.
I'm Jen Landa.
And I'm Joseph Scrimshaw.
And we're here to talk a little Star Wars news live, and, we'll get to all that. Not a lot in the news world in terms of Star Wars this week, but we'll spin off into some conversations. We'll take care of some housekeeping quick up top. This show is currently sponsored by our own merch shop on Fourth Wall. I got to call an audible here, though, Joseph and Jennifer. I feel a little weird about asking people to buy merch when I'm just not sure if the shipping costs are under $1,000. So if it's affordable, it's in your budget, check it out. We got a lot of cool things. I'd love you to support Force Center out in Galaxy. If not, how about this for a sponsor today? Your fingers pressing the like button on this video.
It's a good sponsor. No tariffs on fingers yet.
Yet indeed. Yet indeed. We are racing towards a goal on YouTube of 10,500 subscribers. We lost a little, and then I think sometimes when you talk directly about politics, people go, I'm out. We get it. We all come to that arrangement, but the numbers have come back up today, so let's talk politics. Anyways, let's not bury the lead. Joseph, welcome back, at least for today.
I'm very, very happy to be here. I've been very busy with the film, and I have like this little lull where other people are doing work right now, and I finally have a couple hours where I don't personally have to do work. And Ken had sent a very nice email. I was like, I know you probably can't join us. Like, no, but I want to. I really want like an hour of normal with my Force Center friends.
An hour normal. For what you can share, progress going good. You were racing towards the world premiere back home in Minneapolis.
Yeah, premiere is on Monday, October 20th in Minneapolis, and the film is just about done. We're almost there. I always think of the Ben Burt quote. He might have been quoting George Lucas, but it's a special feature on Attack of the Clones that is named Films Are Not Released, They Escape, talking about all the details that you could still try to get just right. Definitely in that frame right now.
Love that. Some life adventures here to catch up with you, Jen, as well. Up top, if you're just joining us, thank you. Hi, welcome. We're here live. We had a lot of fun going live Friday with the call-in show, which I had said on air. I was kind of ruminated on just we do the monthly call-in live stream, but I was like, can we just formulate it? Maybe it's a new thing we do here. And I was like, maybe I'll tell Joseph and Jennifer like Force Center now. And then MSNBC changed that and just drove that idea out of my head. But we had a lot of fun on Friday. Thanks to those that called in. We'll take any questions at the end of the show here. We go for about an hour on the news. Super chats help reach those goals. And if we hit a super chat goal today, maybe we'll go back live Friday. And we had a lot of fun with faces on camera because I had messed up. So everyone had to be camera ready. And it was great. A lot of fun. Jen, life adventures, Star Wars life adventures, copyright law life adventures.
Oh, yes. Great segue. So a friend of mine on Facebook tagged me in a post and was like, why is this AI Jennifer Landa? And I just looked at the thumbnail. I'm like, what's he talking about? That's me. It's me. It was me and my Death Star cosplay. Or so I thought. A couple hours later, when I finally got around to looking at it on my desktop, I was like, that's not me. They had the Sith account on Facebook, which how appropriate that it was a Sith account. They took my Death Star cosplay photo of me in San Diego Comic-Con 2010, photographed by Bonnie Burton. They ran it through AI, replaced my face with someone who was not me. They also gave me a bigger bust line. Sure, why not? But everything else was pretty much identical. And it was shocking. And I didn't even care. I was like, look, like, I don't care if you want to swap me out with someone that you deem more attractive. I don't even care. I was an actor. I was dehumanized for 20 years. I'm over that. But what bothered me is that because I created my cosplay, it removed my contribution, my creativity from the equation. So now, like, that's the only way I can get credit, right? Is if you see my face. But if you remove my face, then nobody knows who that is. And what's particularly scary, you guys, is I did a crop of the face and I was like trying to reverse Google search it. And it says, this is a photo of Jennifer Landa. And I'm like, that's not me. That's not me. And you can see directly below that AI photo face of me are me in the photos. But here's what's really scary. And somebody messaged me, was like, it's like The Net with Sandra Bullock. I was like, yes, I love that movie. I don't want to live it. Think about this, you guys. If I did not have other people at Comic-Con taking my photos from different angles, and it was just one photo, and the AI photo got shared enough, nobody would know that that was not me, because eventually the AI me could take over when you search for me. Isn't that crazy?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
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 Yeah.
So disturbed.
Well, let's lose some followers by getting political. It's all tied together, right? The current powers that be support the tech bros who want this to be our reality, who
Right.
want in these small ways, right? This isn't big Hollywood. This is a fan who created something awesome, and your credit is being stripped away. And that's going to happen to all of us in every little way. This isn't just about, oh no, somebody ripped off Ryan Gosling's face, you know? This is about all of us, and we do need an administration that is willing to regulate it, because that's how it's going to stop.
As opposed to one that puts in, can't regulate it for 10 years until it's already slipped out of our grip. Yeah, okay. Okay, I agree with you there. Yeah.
Just living in a slop nightmare of non-reality.
Yeah. Yeah. Saw it play out, Jen, with your excellent Instagram reel. So I think maybe this needs to be, I won't say it needs to be a Jedi beat, but Jen Landa, journalist, needs to kick in here and do a longer, when you're not studying for your future with school and everything. But it is crazy. It is scary. This is beyond just simple uses or how do we adapt it to our life going forward. This is intentional. Well, that account is doing that intentionally. Without any reservations, and you might accidentally take some of this stuff in. Like I saw one guy I knew, former boss of mine, who was always big on crypto and deepfakes. Anyways, just shared a cavalcade of AI slop last night, and it's like, all right, you're stoned in your apartment or townhome and doing this. I got it, but like now it's just being accepted. It's being swallowed up, and. Yeah, sometimes, Jen, when it hits you personally, not that you didn't have these thoughts before, but it's like dangers are felt to a lot of the ways that you're talking about, Joseph. The micro issues of these versus the big ones going on, which are all connected. What
would Mon Mothma say about the death of Truth and Jen Landa's face being taken away from her Death Star dress? What would Mon Mothma say?
To make a dumb joke, by the way. I forgot that was the most important part. They took it to make the Target joke that has been memed on Reddit for 14 years.
Yeah.
Right? So my husband's like, well, obviously they wanted to create something new. I'm like, but the joke is so old, it's not even funny anymore. He's, I don't know. He was kind of like, it's really scary. But at the same time, he's like, it's just probably some younger person who doesn't understand the consequences. And it also takes away, like, if you're going to make a sexual joke about a woman, if you're doing it at me, I know I used to have people who were like, oh, I'm Jen, that's terrible. I didn't really care, whatever. Right. But like, if you take a real person out of the equation, then you can make those kind of sexist jokes and not have to worry about a real woman being like, hey, don't objectify me in that way. Right. So that was another thing. This is a dissertation, you guys. I'm sorry.
Well, it's also the concern of this Tilly Norwood thing going around, the AI actor that agencies are trying to scoop up and sign. I'd like a list of those agencies. Yeah, but that's one of the side effects is, we got this hot young ingenue. She ain't going to say no on set. She's not going to resist any of the things we want to put her in if that keeps playing out. And actually, to your husband's point, I understand what he's saying too. I do think that's sometimes the case where it's a lot of just, hey, I'm being scooped up in the zeitgeist and the trends and the fashions and to use AI in this fashion, like they're not stopping to think about it. So maybe it's up, and no one wants to listen to this us old folks warning about it. No one wants to, Joseph, you've spoken beautifully on the loss of humanity. Can we get that message to those younger folks who are just being swept up in this? I don't know.
Yeah. When people keep trying to turn it into a battle of don't embrace the future, AI is a great tool for specific uses. I'm working on film stuff. Like there's very specific film tools that are really good at removing background sounds and damaged audio, right? And it doesn't steal anybody from anything as long as it's trained on audio that you have the permission for. There's resources uses you got a question. To me, it's not about a tool or resisting the future. It's an entirely on purpose, unregulated tool. It's like if cars had absolutely no regulations, and if you felt like it, you could just drive them into people's houses, and people are going to go, what do you do? You got to embrace cars. Do you want to be left in the past? Drive them into people's houses. Like it's entirely unregulated.
Yeah. Well, Jan, we appreciate you sharing that. And old joke, bad joke. I mean, that's 40% of my problem with the modern internet now any day. Is like, oh, that's a very funny viral sketch you did that got you cast on Saturday Night Live. We did that joke 30 years ago.
Yeah.
30 years ago, we had that sketch. But good on you. Good on you. But then the old man bitterness starts to swing in there.
Real quick here, I want to pull in the chat our friend Brian Ward, who makes very funny, authentic, handcrafted Star Wars jokes and memes that are very funny because they're coming from a very real place. Says this kind of stuff is why I've given up. And some people are saying some nice things in the chat. Brian, I love your stuff, says Serenity Jane. And Brian just this morning finished helping me with some poster artwork for the film. So I wanted to shout out Brian Ward's abilities that have helped us here on Force Center and Star Wars Explained in all sorts of places. Real artists, much better.
Much better indeed. Well, Jen, I mentioned that was probably your only Star Wars adventure for this week, but any more before we dive into news?
No, that was it.
Okay.
Do you have any adventures you want to share, Ken?
Yeah.
No, nothing giant. Just another week of my soul crumbling and my life around me not being rebuilt as fast or in any way. And going through a lot of Star Wars memorabilia and merch that I think I'm going to have to part ways with for the practicalities of moving. So, it takes too much energy to sell these things, to go on eBay and try to sell 300 Funko Pops. And Star Wars books and comic books and everything. So it's a weird kind of, do I just have to kind of toss these aside? Not in the trash, but donate. I'm looking to donate to a library on books and comics and all that kind of stuff. But it is interesting to continue. I've mentioned this before on the show, but like you're at a storage shed connected to a memory that seems like yesterday, but it's already 2016 Rogue One PR push memories that are 9 years ago, and you're just... life, starts flying past you. But I love that Star Wars has these markers along the way for me. And those memories don't go away. The plastic that could fade, the plastic can go, the plastic can burn, but the memories will remain. And that's been the joy of the last 10 years.
That's great. That's great.
But anything other than the film, sir, or anything?
Well, I wanted to share a quick Star Wars experience that I had online that was really positive. The Cantina HasLab came out, and I haven't had a chance to open mine or look at it. It is a large decorative table in my home right now. But people in action figure groups are sharing all the customizations they're doing to their HasLab Cantina. And these are people who have studied the living hell out of things that I don't think even show up in the film, like production photos of exactly what the lighting and design of the interior of the bar is. And Hasbro didn't include a floor, so people are sharing the floors. And there was a guy, I think this shot is in the film. There's a random, not designed, not space bucket, just a silver bucket on the steps of the cantina that you can see in the film. And this guy posted, I made my custom silver bucket.
Wow.
You put on the cantina steps. And for me, it was just it was a fun Star Wars thing, but also it's I'm working hard on this film and trying to put in all these little details, and who knows if anything will ever happen with it. To see somebody 50 years later going, I recreated the silver bucket that some, stagehand was like, you need it dressed more? I got a bucket. I'll get it from the bathroom. I'll throw it on the steps. The contrast between how little that person cared when they were making this guy's dumb little space movie when they put a bucket on the steps compared to 50 years later, somebody going, I must personally design a bucket to match the one that guy randomly grabbed from the toilet to dress this scene.
Oh my gosh.
It was just this great contrast of, you never know how anything's going to end up and how it might live in the future.
That speaks to something to me here and see if I'm off base. With the Mandalorian and Grogu trailer, you got a lot of cool things, and this possibility that a Monoman or someone of Monoman's ilk is there in the movie, and that elicits cheers, joy. It also elicits eye rolls, and here we go again with Star. But this is the core of Star Wars. This is the core of any big thing that you fall in love with, in terms of Lord of the Rings, Transformers, anything, but Star Wars, looking in the background and kind of, diving in, or the inside jokes, the wonderful sound guy with the pig shorts, who I know in the last couple of years passed away, or I love cosplay of Governor Tarkin in slippers, because it's celebrating not just the characters, but the lore around it, the lore that pulled us in. And what you're talking about, Joseph, is, to me, I hope there's a silver bucket in the Mandalorian and Grogu, and I hope it's the Cantina bucket.
Wouldn't that
That's
be
one of the
amazing
reasons we're here.
if the bucket became like the new Wilbur Hood and there's a running of the Cantina bucket? Yeah.
So there you go. All right. Speaking of that, should we get to some Star Wars news? We don't have just catching up. One of the little last second updates that I saw before we went live. Natasha Liu Bordizzo, of course, Sabine Wren from the live action Sabine Wren from Ahsoka, just kind of seemingly confirmed, according to our friends at Star Wars News, that the series, the principal photography, has come to an end after 5 months of filming for the 8 episodes forthcoming. So that's just kind of exciting, as I used to say back in the day, especially in 2014 range. I just get all giddy knowing that there's new Star Wars out there complete that I haven't seen yet. Joseph, do these words haunt you? Principal photography, or where are you at with that?
No, the main thing I think of is principal photography, because as we have discussed in recent years, reshoots has become like is there a problem? Like, no, it's part of the process. So I look forward to hearing about the reshoots on Ahsoka, because they will happen. And I'm really excited for the show. It left off with so many intriguing threads and intriguing characters. I'm really excited for it.
Yeah. Jen, 20 years of being treated inhumanely as an actor, but does this speak of freedom or what?
No, I'm sure that they are having a great rap party if they haven't already had it. And it just made me think, are we getting it next year, 2026, season 2?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Now the fun begins, right, Joseph? Where they're gonna go in and they're gonna edit, they're gonna reshoot the visual effects, and so I'm really looking forward to this season. I really am. I think it's gonna be good.
Same indeed. So that's a little news update here, but our main story comes from a interview over at the Ringerverse with Timothy Oliphant, and there you go. There's a Venn diagram, human being of little fandoms there. Justified, Deadwood. What brings you in? That movie in the early 2000s with Alicia Cuthbert? I don't know. There's a lot of ways to enjoy
Scream
Timothy
2.
Oliphant. Scream as well, yes.
Go.
And of course, Star Wars.
Go?
Oh,
Go?
yeah.
Oh, was he was in Go. Yes, he was in Go.
Go. I loved him in Go. I love that movie still.
Yeah?
Really fun.
I love that. My old high school buddy, Manu Intereme's in Go, too. I think Katie Holmes writes on his chest and lipstick. Oh, man.
Oh, my gosh. Yes, I remember that scene.
Yeah.
No.
I did Shakespeare with Manu.
My
before he went on to Star Trek. Oh, you just brought me way back to like 1998, 99.
Amazing.
There we go. But Timothy Oliphant was on this podcast doing a FaceTime interview. Whoa, the future, we're in it now. And he admitted that he has sent text to Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni. That's right, the Yinzer and Johnny Favs, reminding them that he and his character, Cobb Vanth, are still alive. I love this. I actually absolutely love this because that tells me he had a lot of fun bringing this character to life, taking it from the pages of Chuck Wendig's books into the show, which was celebrated, Mandalorian Season 2. But Joseph, I want to dive in, do a little investigative reporting here. Do you take this as a confirmation that he is not in the Mandalorian and Grogu, or is there chicanery afoot?
I get the vibe that he is not. I think I didn't watch the whole interview, but I saw little clips of other things, and this feels like a real, I'm having fun, I'm joking, real casual. This doesn't feel like a sort of red carpet or anything where somebody's like, "Are you coming back?" and he has to kind of come up with a spin.
Right.
It felt, he's a great actor, so who knows? He might have tricked us, but it felt pretty honest compared to I always go back to that Ewan McGregor interview. I can't remember if it was Emmys, Golden Globes, whatever. He had just won an award for something else, and people ask him if he's coming back as Obi-Wan Kenobi, and he pretends to have a problem with his gum, and just or the mint he swallowed, and just kind of changes, like, And actors have gotten better at coming up their spin, but this felt not like spin. This felt like I could see a world where a bunch of characters are in it and they've been taught the spin to deflect, but it didn't feel like that to me.
Yeah, that's maybe the bigger issue we'll talk about here. But Jen, you with your Jedi beat and reporting and investigative reporting is in your blood. It's in your genes. What say you?
Based on his body language and just like the interview with the FaceTime and like he's like moving his phone around, it was very relaxed. I love those types of interviews. And I think that he was being very honest and transparent. I think he had fun. He is the epitome of cool. So other actors might be like, oh my gosh, this is like his desperate way of like trying to get some work. But I think he genuinely likes the character. He genuinely likes working with this team and on set. And he's like, yeah, hey guys, I'm around. Let's shoot this thing for a week. Right. But yeah, he's not going to be a Mando and Grogu. I was really surprised. I was like, oh, he really is not going to be on that in the movie. He looked.
Yeah. There's also just like this kind of actors are humans reality to, I think, actors' relationship with Disney Plus shows that Ewan McGregor has talked about, of like, they live here, and instead of flying somewhere far away from their family, they get up at a reasonable time and they drive to a studio and they shoot for a few hours and they come home for dinner. They stop at In-N-Out if they want. Like that gig of filming on the volume is cushy compared to what a lot of stars do.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, I'm right with both of you there. I think the energy about it, and just the excitement he had and kind of saying like, oh yeah, I've been bothering them. And there's a lot more opportunity to bring Cobb Vanth back. We'll talk about that, but yeah, to me, it made me think that we're not getting this character in the Mandalorian and Grogu, and that was my follow up is do we think Cobb Vanth will return, Jen? And what do we like about his character that makes us really want him to come back?
I made some notes because I was like really trying to figure out. I'm like, all right, so he's not going to be in the Mando and Grogu. I don't think he's going to be in Ahsoka season 2, but they left us with such a huge cliffhanger for this character, but it was in the Book of Boba Fett, which basically doesn't exist anymore. So I'm just like, what? Okay, we're just leaving it be. I don't think he's going to come back. Could he? Sure. Realistically, nah. Because when is Dave Filoni's movie going to happen? I don't know why I put air quotes.
Wonderfully aggressive, and I love it.
I don't know why.
It could end up a TV show.
Yeah. I mean, and Mike Fink says, look, in the big team up movie, which is how Filoni's movie was, I won't say sold, but it's definitely inferred that it's, the big events all across Disney TV kind of culminate that. And that's maybe been stretched a little bit in the reporting, but I think there's a place for him there, but I think going forward, definitely not Ahsoka season 2. The Mandalorian Grogu is the perfect place for it. So there's about 10% of me hoping that he was just kind of having fun with the question. I think that is, a absolute character that could slide on in for a scene, an act of the film, and kind of help Mando on it and Grogu on their way. But there is a lot to the character, and I think they did a great job adapting it from book to screen, because he wasn't a focal point of the Aftermath story at all. He was actually in the interludes, but he was intriguing. It was great. That's why I think we all gravitated towards him. And I think it fits seamlessly into what they did with The Mandalorian. And just Oliphant brought that in. I remember my initial reaction, Joseph, you remember reviews. I wasn't fully on board with what he was doing.
It was one of the first times I really disagreed with you, and it was kind of like, what?
Yeah, I thought it was at the time a little heavy-handed and ham-fisted, and also as a Deadwood fan, I was like, I think I'd just go watch the Deadwood movie. But he stayed the course. He made these great choices as an actor, and I think really found the heart of the character. I really love in a wild, wacky Star Wars world with a lot of violence and a lot of aggression, that his calm, cool demeanor a virtual toothpick in his mouth really connected with me in the end. And I'm happy that the potential for him to go on exists. I also think it would have been very effective if he was killed and held on. That death was held on to in that moment. But I don't know, Joseph, where we could put him back in and his draw.
I mean, I think we'll talk more about all the other characters who aren't there, of whether or not there's going to be another season of Mando and Grogu after the film is the big question for me.
That's true.
I really want him to return, and I'm hopeful that he will return. I'm hopeful that he'll return because I don't feel like Jon Favreau is done with the character in Dave Filoni, or they wouldn't have had the post-credit scene of him surviving. So I don't think they personally feel done with him. And also, I don't think he's not somebody played by like kind of a fun, obscure character actor. As you illustrated, he's been in lots and lots of different things. So he brings lots of different fandoms forward. He's very charming in his interviews. And I think he is on the verge of a Keanu level. People love that actor for his performances, for his all of the Venn diagram of him from all these places, and for just like his vibe in the interviews. So like, why would they turn away from the star power of him as an actor? So I think they might bring him back. And then the thing I really like about his character and why I want him to come back is I think he's had this great thread where we meet him. He feels like he needs that armor, Boba Fett's armor, to protect the people. And he realizes it's the right thing to give up that armor, which is great practical storytelling, but it's also a metaphorical storytelling of, being willing to evolve, let go of your armor and try to be the person you want to be, even if it's harder and scarier to feel like you don't have the armor you need to be the person you were trying to be. And then without that armor, he's still just as much of a badass, but he does get shot in a way that he would not have if he still had the armor. And when we left him, he was being fitted with, cybernetic guts to make up for the fact that he didn't have that armor. And like, how is that character going to feel? Is he going to be resentful? Is he going to be even more committed to, I did the right thing. You stand up no matter what, and you find a way forward. Like me and my cybernetic guts. Like the character's arc of his relationship of what does it take to be a protector, and what am I willing to do to be a protector is a great story, and it's a great evolution of the stereotype of the Western Marshal and risking politics. And it's great to see a character who is coded as an old school, anything goes Western Marshal, who is truly protecting and defending. That's what the character is doing. And with the Tuskens, he evolved, he progressed, he changed. It's really great to see the stereotype of the no bullshit, I do things my way. But then also somebody points out what I'm doing is wrong. I'm like, oh, my bad. I'll change and still sound real cool and tough about it, but I'll change.
Yeah, it ties into something I've said on stage before in the stand-up world of masculinity driven by love could change the world. Masculinity driven by toxic, methods and means is literally burning the world down. And I think it kind of comes down to what you're talking about there with this character. Yeah, like Pancho Mike just said. Now, Joseph, you're selling me on a Cobb Vanth and the Cantina bucket spinoff. He walks in. It becomes his spittoon.
Yeah.
He wears the bucket around his injury to protect it.
Brian Ward is the Weekway bartender coming back. I know he was later given a name. It's Freetown now, which is also a Deadwood crossover right there with W. Earl Brown. I don't know. You got me sold. But you're absolutely right. I think that, and I think that's what Timothy Oliphant found in that character. He's a great performer. And even though I had some initial a little dubious about some of the choices of a lot of Star Wars streaming acting voices, those things. It's just sometimes it rubs up against me. His did, but I stuck with it. And when you concentrate on what's there and what's being presented and the choices being made, I think you can get more out of it there too. Gaz Nottingham says, before we go to this big question, the second season of the Book of Boba Fett would be a sensible story to return Tatooine to continue or feature Cobb Vanth's continued story. Yes, I agree with that. But all right, Jen, take your journalistic reporter notes here out. I need you on the beat. No Cobb Vanth, no Boba Fett, no Fennec Shan, no Bo-Katan. I don't have quotes in front of me. I'm just going on the vibes of remembering the stories over the last year. So unless we're being tricked a bit, like we talked about, the Mandalorian and Grogu, it's not shaping up to be a big reunion or a continuation of the series or of the Book of Boba Fett. So Jen, what do you think of that? Do you believe that? Do you hold on hopes for some of these characters to show up here? Where do you go?
Why would they not have any of these characters? To me, this is me the thing that's worried about Mando and Grogu, because
Huh?
I feel like you have some great solid characters in Fennec Shand and Bo-Katan. Cobb Vanth, okay, I can see him not appearing. Sure. Would it be fun? Yes. Boba Fett, I don't know. There's a lot going on with Tim and his interviews. I don't think he's coming back. Right? I loved him. I loved the Book of Boba Fett, but I don't think that's
Same.
happening, right? So
It's
I'm
just,
like, what
yeah,
do you
sorry.
do?
It's,
Go
it's just
ahead.
you look at the faces of powers that be at conventions. You just go, oh boy.
Yeah, exactly,
Carry
right?
on. Sorry.
So, and I haven't been keeping up with Katie Sackhoff's comments. I don't think anybody's talked to Ming-Na Wen about this. And so if you're not going to have them, then who are you going to have? Jeremy Allen White as a Hutt, potentially. Who else?
Which we
have
like.
Sigourney Weaver. Sigourney Weaver, right? But
Zeb?
like, Zeb,
Zeb.
okay, but I need more. I don't, like, you have these great characters. Why are you going to leave them on the sidelines? Right?
Mhm.
It's got to be big, cinematic.
I agree with you. That's why even making this list, I had a little bit of disappointment in my soul. Because also, you know, Ahmed Best hasn't shared any set footage. I mean, again, they might just all be clamped down, which I really respect. I want to be surprised. I'd love to go to this theater and have it be a little bit of a Major League Baseball all-star game, which is all the players from all the different teams show up. It would work for me. But it just makes me think, all right, then what is this story about? And if they're not essential to the story, number one, I want to give them a little bit of trust. But two, that definitely is not what my expectations would have been of this movie when it was announced. So I'll follow it. But I'm with you, Jen. I love these characters. That's the point of it. I just want them back, Joseph. I just want them back.
I really, really want them back too, and I could be wrong, but I don't think they'll be in the film. And I think if they announced a Mandalorian Grogu season 4, I would be really upset if the characters didn't show up there.
Mhm.
I think for the film, it is a fine balance to please the fans, the deep fans like us of these shows, versus making it as accessible as possible to people who didn't watch the shows. And we've got some deep cuts, like Rod of the Hutt is a deep cut, and Zeb is a deep cut from a normal audience perspective, not from us or anybody listening to this live stream. Zeb's a major character from our perspective for a normal audience. But Zeb and Rada don't have long histories with Din and Grogu.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Fans can cheer for Zeb, and if you're not, they're like, they got that alien guy to help him out. He's with the New Republic. Got it. We don't need to know Zeb's relationship with Din and Grogu. But all these characters with long and deep ties popping up is valuable to us when we have the backstory, but maybe challenging to a normal audience. And I don't know. I think in general, Jon Favreau has enough Hollywood weight to be given elbow room. But if executives are weighing in, Marvel got hurt bad in their films that built on Disney Plus streaming shows. So if executives have any fingers on the scale, they are trying to say, keep this as new audience friendly as possible, because that's one of the things they're blaming some of the Marvel movies that didn't do well, were really directly building off of Disney Plus shows.
Whether right or wrong, too, right?
Yeah.
It's just the perception, the reality of it there, too.
Yeah.
No, I absolutely think you're right. And there was something about, look, at the end of Mando 3, you definitely had the vibe that suddenly Mandalorian and Grogu were like, we're going to move to Seattle and become a talk show host on the radio. And a whole new cast of characters is going to emerge. Jen, I just made a Gen X reference to Frasier, and I apologize.
No, I loved Frasier. I used to watch
But it
it.
had that vibe, right? It had that vibe.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. You guys are making a good point. I mean, we want it to be accessible to a new audience, but at the same time, part of the fun is being able to point to someone like Bo-Katan and being like, oh, if you really like this character, guess what? You can watch her in the Clone Wars. Guess what? You can watch her in other things. It's creating that depth of fandom, which I feel like that is so quintessential to who being a Star Wars fan is about, right? Like we seek more and more and more.
Mm-hmm.
My gripe with the Skeleton Crew is like you introduce these fantastic characters, and then we don't ever see him again. Or like Cobb Vanth, great character, okay, and what's going to happen with him? I feel like we need to have some follow through to continue building. You want to bring people in, but at the same time, I don't want people to be abandoned. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Characters
100%. When it comes to Skeleton Crew in particular, yeah, absolutely. You know, Jordan Norwood, I keep saying, continues to be one of my favorite characters, and I mean that in the lessons he teaches, not necessarily what his actions are. And the kids are wonderful and everything about it. Like I want to go back to Skull Ridge Mountain Resort. I want another episode there. So I'm with you on that there, and it can feel frustrating. Yeah. And there's something to Art just saying, hey, leave it be, right? This is why I'm one of the folks that is glad Kino Loy didn't come back into Andor, and let's just kind of leave that arc what it is. There's cases where that works, but with these kind of characters, especially Cobb Vanth, clearly being eyes about to pop open, you want more. You want more.
Yeah, I'm screwing up here for the most important question from Will McLean. Is Toro Calican available? No.
Don't make my blood pressure go up. Please. Yeah, take it.
He is.
Yeah, I mean, we so don't know things about the story of Mandalorian and Grogu, which I absolutely love, and I continue to think that maybe a big chunk of it is Grogu having to face his trauma, which means maybe a decent amount of story told in flashback, and then that gives context to characters because we're following Grogu's journey.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Joel has an interesting observation here. Wanted to bring into the conversation. I've been rewatching the whole Mandoverse with my dad, and he's loved it. Doesn't find it as homework and understands everything assigned. I think fans overthink how complicated this really is. I think there's some truth to that. I have this isn't to counter what Joel's saying, but I have someone in my life who was like, Rebels was his favorite TV show. He and his son studied it, loved it, watched it many times, and he called me during Ahsoka. Was like, buddy, I'm lost, and I watched Rebels 5 times. Like, and it's just it might just be individual reaction there, but I do think Joel's right too. Of just sometimes it is keep it simple, stupid. It's just it's fun. It's Star Wars, it's characters we love or you'll learn.
Yeah, and I think James Gunn's Superman wasn't building off of pre-existing stuff, but that text at the beginning was just like, you never seen a Superman film? Not only do you know what's going on, but you did a great job with that text of setting up the emotional stakes as well. And I think Marvel, Star Wars, whatever, if you're dealing with continuing stories, just trying to get better about the way that they bring the audience in to letting us know who the characters are.
Yeah. Joel says, my dad understands Ahsoka as Baby Yoda's friend and liked it. And you know what? That's kind of it. That's kind of the formula right there. I just thought about it though. This Mandalorian Grogu would be the perfect spot to bring Kino Loy in. Like he escaped.
Wow.
He swam off the island. He went and lived his life, and now he's running into Did. Maybe. I don't know. Jed, any final thoughts here on Cobb Vanth, Timothy Oliphant, Deadwood, or anything with this movie this week?
No, he's just really cool. I mean, wouldn't it be fun to have a whole series with him? I don't know where streaming is going. As somebody mentioned up in the comments, like, I really don't know. Besides, after Ahsoka, it will be really interesting to see in Visions where they take streaming and if we will get another live action show. I don't know.
I think they have to make something. It's
something.
If they were just like, hey, we're going to mostly do Lego specials, and that's going to be the Star Wars on Disney Plus. No shade to those specials. They're fun and good and well written. Everybody seems to like them. But that's way different than the promise of. I mean, they've for Marvel, they've just scaled back and they're making things that people like and announcing them well ahead of time. Of like, here's another season of Daredevil is coming. People like that. Great. They need to announce something big to follow up Ahsoka season 2. Just pick one thing and do the hell out of it.
Right.
Anything maybe to justify another price hike for this service.
Look, we understood we put out too much, so we're going to give you less and charge you $2 more a month.
Yep. Yep. David Mackay points out, and I like the vibe behind it. Look, they have Ahsoka, they have Maul Shadowlord, Vision spinoff next year. We got the Vision spinoff. So 2026 I think is full, depending on where all these land. Which also means to me that things are already either in motion, not production, but in pre-production, or there's already they're working on whatever's going to come out after is already in their minds. But that's encouraging to me that regardless of the streaming conversation, which is an important one, and I saw the chart the other day of the percentage of studio facilities currently being rented or occupied in Los Angeles. Said, whoa. It was so low you couldn't even track the number. It was off the charts in the other way. And I know they shoot in a lot of other spots. It's not just about LA, but that David comment there gives me hope that, hey, look, we do have some time to figure this out, and something cool and big will follow those shows. But I don't know if that's just me.
Lost Cosmic Jedi says the same thing. We have Ninth Jedi, Ahsoka, Maul Shadowlord, but no other live action announced so far. Yeah, I should be clear that I'm excited for all those things, and I would be happy to say this is the home of Star Wars animation, because that's always some of my favorite Star Wars storytelling. I just feel like animation doesn't end up on the billboards much when they're trying to sell the subscription service. So I think it's the live action series that they need to announce something within the next year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Matthew, I'm sorry. I'll let him off Star Wars live action for a year if they were working on Willow season 2. Thank you, Matthew. Gosh, that was just that was a great show.
It was. I grew to really love that show. Yeah. What a time.
R.I.P.
I have a quick. We got some this week in Star Wars history fun facts to talk about, and we want to take your questions here in the time we have. So hey, pop in there, get a question. We'd really appreciate a super chat to help keep the show strong and robust as we head towards our 10th year. Oh, our 10th anniversary is this month. 10 years ago this month we started broadcasting. So
really,
we'll celebrate. I had a little bit of an existential crisis this morning when I did the math and was like, what have I accomplished with my life? Because things I thought yesterday were 20 years ago and this 10 years ago, but this is an accomplishment. So I took pride in that. Joseph, I have a weird follow-up question. Not that you didn't have thoughts on this before. It wasn't like suddenly you've never created before and everything. You've done a ton of things, but this feature film is big for you. You're putting all your life into it right now. And I have this thought, like I'm kind of getting grumpy a little bit over the Mandalorian and Grogu. Just now getting stuff up. I feel May is going to squeeze up real fast, and we need constant promotion because not just the algorithm, but we as humans, we forget it, and I think the general population needs to know. It will come, but you promoting a film and maybe cutting trailers. Do you have more thoughts on trailers and what should be in them and what shouldn't, and when they should come out? Have you had a chance to focus on the PR of it all?
Yeah, I mean, I have had a chance to focus on the PR in terms of dreaming up the trailer that I want to make, but not time to make it yet. But I've had this opinion before, and I have it even more having actually created something, is I think it's important to create a desire, to create people like, I need to see that. I want it to be an event. And I think we have gotten into a point of like, well, give us more information. And, no shade to anybody who wants more information. If that's your preference, that's great. But my opinion is I would love it if it became a tradition that, like, Hitchcock did it. It should become normal for directors. Have Jon Favreau in his office. Have him tell us, what's the heart of the movie? Why did you make it? Why should people come to see it? And then bam, 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 bam. Fun images, right? I think that film promotion has lost the art of the tease. And I don't mean that as any sort of sexual joke. I think burlesque is an art form. And what burlesque gets is making people lean in and want more, with a sense of humor, with a sense of connection. And I want films to get better about making it feel like I gotta be in that seat on day one, not because I already know everything that's going to happen, not because I have a list of what should happen, but because I'm intrigued by the heart of it and I don't know what's going to happen and I need to know. That, yeah, sorry.
No, I also think we have, I love modern day film trailers and promotion versus maybe some of the past I've made fun of. Not what you're talking about, but like the speed of trailers is, the MTV generation sped up editing and it just has gotten better. But I also think that it's become such a formula that I'd like to see it broken. Someone in chat, I think 898 for M Brady says James Gunn kind of has that, other ways to promote, whether it's online with your social media presence or sharing playlists. I don't know if, I don't expect Johnny Favs to share, here's Din Grogu's playlist full of 1990s alt rock songs. I'd love it. I'd probably love the playlist. I don't expect that. But to what you're saying of hearing from the creators, hearing from the people, and just marketing things in a different style and break the rhythm. Even like, I love the Visions Volume 3 trailer used it. Jen and I talked about it last week, but it has now what I call the Star Wars trailer music, which is epic. And when it hits, and it hit in the vision, but that dun, 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 like we all know, but it's every trailer now. I'd like to see it broken a little bit, and what you're talking about, Joseph, is something that could maybe help break it.
Yeah, it's just all of the different ways to create curiosity, intensity, and engagement have been overused, so they feel like, cool. It's got that boom. For a while, everything had the Hans Zimmer boom.
Yes.
Every trailer had now every like horror movie has like to the point where it's a meme. I saw in Blue Sky. It's like everybody list the popular song that's not meant to be scary that you would like to hear slowed down to a scary pace for the next horror film. It's a truth that marketing there's a heavier hand of executives than artists. And that's what you get is it worked before, so let's do it again. And we are in a place now where the audience is suffering from that, I think.
Yeah. I love that. I love taking some 80s song, different speed.
99 balloons.
Everybody wants to rule the world.
Wang Chong tonight.
You can dance if you want to.
Oh my God.
Leave your friends behind.
Behind.
We could do it all hour. Jen, any thoughts on trailers and which wedding song you like to dance to?
I think that the trailers nowadays have to make it seem like it's an event and create an air of FOMO. Like you will feel like you're not missing out if you are not one of the people that experiences it in the movie theater. That's what Paul Thomas Anderson and the Leonardo DiCaprio movie, One Battle After Another. My whole feed was like, you need to see this in the movie theater. And I was like, I would love to. Who's going to get me a babysitter for 3 hours, right? So like,
yes.
It was that word of mouth where it was like, it was bubbling until where it reached the average person, an average moviegoer who was like, that you got to go experience that. Right. Or I think about like Wicked. I don't even need to see a trailer of Wicked. I know I'm going to go see it because like, number one, it's something to take my kids to. And number two, I know it's going to be an event and I want to go see it. Right. So I think Star Wars has that natural ability where it's going to be an event. But then it's like, is it going to trickle out to the more casual fans, the people who are going to be there opening weekend? That's what the trailer can help with. And I'm sure the hype from all the Instagram and TikTokers who, go to these events and look, baby Grogu. And
yeah. And I was.
Sorry. That's my start.
No, I was gonna swing into that like Miley Cyrus on a wrecking ball and dive into that conversation. I know folks that influence. You could consider us influencers. I know there's one former movie trivia competitor, not a friend, but a colleague who I posted some years ago. This is like 2 years ago. Hey, here's the Force Center episode on the new trailer, and he's like, "Why are you promoting this for Disney?" And it's just like, well, it's our podcast. That's what we do. But okay. So the word influencer is bigger than maybe we want it to be. But what you're talking about, Jen, it's replaced actual critics and journalists and deep thinking podcasts. And I'm not just saying that from grumpy old man perspective. I'm saying that's now become the formula that I wonder if that will break.
Oh, it
I
will.
don't know if someone who swings lightsabers going to a red carpet is going to move the needle anymore for some of these things. I'd love to hear more from the creators. It should always change and should always adapt. It's slight bitterness from me of just like, well, now we're off the lists because I don't do hip TikTok videos sharing my Star Wars collection. All right, now you don't want me there. Got it. But I wonder if that will break too. If that just becomes noise.
Mm-hmm.
Can I
Yeah.
just say, can I share something? So my
Please.
dad, as you guys know, was a news broadcaster. And for many years, he used to be able to go to Disneyland free. Like we could let in people. It was a big thing. The news media, they were free passes, big events for the news media, until it got to the point where they were like, this kind of feels like we're buying for favorable coverage. So that's why they got rid of these silver passes for these journalists or some of these news broadcasters, because it was like kind of like ethically not right. So now we have influencers, and I've been fortunate to be one of them. You go and they're having you get to interact with the freaking celebrities and the actors and like at these meet and greets, and you get to walk the red carpet. Am I going to say something negative about it? Hell no. I might like be like, I might sandwich my criticism, right? Like, this was awesome. No, this was really awesome. So I feel like what's going to happen is people are not going to trust influencers anymore, and it's going to be kind of a similar thing where there's going to probably be a backlash for that reason that you're talking about, Ken. Like, it's just
and I think it's lit because this is to be blunt what was thrown at us at Collider when we would go to these events. Well, how could you're not going to criticize it? First of all, a lot of my colleagues did dumb, bad faith arguments that were quite appalling to me. But we were, that was the job. That's the movie person. It's different than Disneyland with your father, but it's in the same ballpark. I think what people accused us or accused the outlets of the time of doing, I think it became the fact because the studios were like, well, yeah, let's just lean into that then.
Yeah.
And like someone once said to me, like, without a doubt, if you're at a red carpet and you see a celebrity, like you see Mark, like Mother Trucker, I'm friends with Nathan Hamill. That's his dad. I'm not wowed by that as much as you would think. Like, sorry, Joseph, Jennifer, we know these people. Like, I'm not wowed by it as much as you.
I would.
But a 22-year-old from Wisconsin. Well, the first time I interviewed him on the phone, yeah. But you know what I'm saying? Like, but a 22-year-old from Wisconsin coming out here swinging a lightsaber is like, like it got watered down, and what it was does not exist anymore. And it became watered down into what it is now, where now you have a room full of folks, and you have some folks, some we know and love, doing the good work, coming up with the good questions. Shout out to Alex and Molly and a lot of others and Goose and all those folks who go there and do it. But then you also have some just like, Tony Gilroy, if you could be a Star Wars action figure, what one will you be? Like that can't be the thing that promotes anymore.
No.
That can't. I think that's got to break.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think for me, just with the whole influencer thing, Jen, your performance as an influencer was hilarious because it was spot on to a lack of sincerity. I think
That's
influencer,
It.
from my perspective, is an older gentleman. The the revelation of we've seen this arc with everything from YouTube, anything that suddenly opens up of this used to be a career and you had to be a journalist or you had to be a film critic to have access to this. And then like our pal Mark Ellis, even, right? Like they were some of the first YouTube critics who were, verified by Rotten Tomatoes. And it has a great era of democratization of now everyday folks have access to these things. But then as those people become more powerful, they're not everyday people. And that happens so fast with influencers of like, oh, wow. With social media, with TikTok, you can just be like, hi, I'm Dave. I'm 17 and I live in the basement. But now I go to these things and you're like, it's fun because he's sincere. But all those impressions that you just did, Jen, are about a deep lack of sincerity of I'm an influencer and this is the voice I use and this is the pose I use because that's what an influencer does. And it takes away all of the sincerity. And that to me is the problem.
Yeah. I really think you're right. I think that I love that, Joseph. I think that's the thing about it. And again, get your flowers, get your passes, make your money. Like, I got it. I wish I could just start a film reaction channel. I wish I could and just play the math game that is YouTube, right? Because it's a math game.
Yeah.
I had a friend who was the vice president of one of the biggest online sketch brands in the world. They smoshed themselves over the world. And he told me one day I was in a meeting and I told someone, yeah, we're the biggest sketch YouTube channel in the world. And then I realized as I said it, no, we're not. We're just trying to solve a math problem. And he quit. And he quit to go do things. He quit it like the next day. And I'm inspired by that, but it doesn't put money in our pockets, unfortunately. But that's not new. That's not new, right? Yeah. But it's part of what's the problem. And I don't know. We opened up a vein of conversation because it's always on my mind. And I want this movie to do well.
Yeah. Molly Damon said, can confirm that some people that get invited to stuff have terrible questions. LOL.
Terrible questions.
But I just want to shout out Alex and Molly, who do a great job at making things fun, but making things sincere. I was thinking about the other day because I'm collecting that Rise of Kylo Ren comic book, which we would have been interested in anyway. Mm-hmm. But I was packing for one of my trips, and I just saw that Alex was interviewing all the comic book writers from this new round of comics. I was like, I'll turn it on. And I collected the comics because of Alex's interview. And I heard more about the comic from Alex's sincere and knowledgeable questions. They still made jokes. They still laughed. They still had fun. But there was knowledge and there was sincerity. And it sold a comic book.
Yeah.
To me.
Yeah. I only watch Star Wars because Alex prances around in a Leia Slayer costume. Sorry, I was so reclamped that I couldn't get it out, Alex. Yeah, no, and it's something, we're about to wrap up here. We got some questions from the audience, but what you're talking about too, Joseph, the death of the expert is a problem from top to bottom.
Right.
And not calling out names because I think they're all talented in their own way, but I understand it. But Saturday Night Live, 51 seasons in, is hiring people who go viral on TikTok, and then they sit down in front of the cameras and they're deer in the headlights because they haven't cut their teeth on stages. Not all of them. A lot of great stand-ups, all that stuff. But like, you see it, you see the push, and you see these folks like they haven't done this, and now they're at the top level. And I feel for them. Because you solved a math problem on TikTok does not mean you know how to do sketch comedy at the highest level. And maybe you can learn, and I'm never rooting against artists who get a chance. But you see it, and I saw it for the first time in years. I watched SNL this weekend, and I'm like, I get it, but it's not going to build out what you want to do with this show. They got to learn fast, and it's the death of the expert. And experts are looked down upon. We see, again, on the top. We see on the bottom. The sincerity thing is big. Big in what you're talking about. Anyways,
yeah,
stumbled on the soapbox.
Joel Davis says you should do a discussion on Legacy of Vader. It's crucial reading. Yeah, I misspoke. That's the comic I meant, the Legacy of Vader, which I'm really enjoying. And yeah, love to talk about it more.
Yeah. Okay.
One last thing I'll say is that, Lucasfilm has had invited like podcasters, writers, blogs and things like that for years. A celebration. They've had these people come and interview the writers or whoever, right? And the reason why is because like we're passionate fans. We care about these things. We want to dive into the minutia, and I want to listen to someone like Alex and Molly who can dive into the minutia with me and like break it down and like have fun with it. And that's why I like them. But there are other influencers where clearly, and I mean, it just feels like it is more about like, and there's no shade because I shared my collection for many, many years, right? It's just a different beast, right? It's a different type of thing. And that skill doesn't always translate to being able to ask thoughtful questions to these creators. That's all.
I know we've mentioned this before, and it's a remix for me, but like Disney PR stopped calling them press events and started calling them fanfluencer events. And that, and this isn't Army Archers, to bring an old reference to a movie journalist from the day. This is an Army Archer covering things. This is a turn away from that, and it lacks sincerity. So anyways, all that to say, can't wait for Mandalorian and Grogu. All right. Yeah, Todd Royce says something. Listen to Andy Samberg talk about how he had to keep trying to recreate the viral beep in the box video for SNL drove him nuts. Yeah, it does drive you nuts. Yeah, and I used to do stand up with Andy back in the day. He ground it out on stages to figure out all that stuff.
Wow.
It's different than just going viral. We got some questions from the audience. I did want to touch on quick Star Wars history here. This week in Star Wars history, October 11th, 1990, the first Star Wars trilogy box set is released. The box set, I remembered it. I know the VHS tapes probably earlier, but Joseph, do you remember? Did you get this box set? I don't even remember which one it is.
Yeah, I was trying to look it up. They're very confusing in the releases because anyway. I did not have the box set because it was too expensive. I had the individual videos that I think I got them in like 91, and I had to kind of like save up for them.
Yeah,
but I remember them because it's how I watched Star Wars at home, and at least mine. I don't think they were widescreen. I think only Laserdisc was widescreen. I think all the VHS were pan and scan, so I got used to it in pan and scan, and these were the ones that a friend at school found out I had them and wanted to borrow them, and I handed them off in a brown paper bag like it was a drug deal, so nobody found out that we like Star Wars. The world has changed.
I just looked them up. I actually have it on the shelf over there. I'm not going to get it. It's for sale if anyone wants it. I do have it. I do have it over there. Yeah, it's the CBS VHS box set. Love it. Love it. Jen, when did you first get a box set?
Oh, I had this box set. I had another one too, but I think my dad must have gotten it, and I watched those over and over again. I think we must still have them. My mom's house has everything. It's like a museum from the 90s. Yeah. And you know what? Recently I was like, I want to get one of those TVs with a VCR attached, like those small things. And I was like, wouldn't that be cool? I could put it in my kitchen, watch Return of the Jedi, and that'd be so cool. Have a coffee.
Chris from Broaxium says, I was that sucker who gleefully bought every VHS trilogy box set. Yeah.
There were a lot. Yeah.
Love that. Other quick note here. We mention this almost anytime it pops up, so it's almost a tradition, but it's one of my favorite traditions. October 12th, 1982, 11-year-old Rusty Miller's The Jedi Master's Quiz Book is published by Del Rey. This is part of Star Wars lore, and Joseph, over one point you bought me like a pretty damn good copy, like a great... And I was looking for that today. I was looking for my original copy. And then by coincidence, this morning I was cleaning out some stuff to get rid of things. And this literally fell out. And the reason I know it's one of my originals is I have a A-Team sticker of B.A. Baracus as the bookmark. This is from the 80s, kids.
Wow.
So I don't know if anyone, ever... Jen, how many nights did you study Rusty Miller's wonderful book?
Oh, Rusty, is that book? I swear to God, I can't answer any of the questions. I'm so bad at trivia, and I think we played this once, didn't we? We
Yep.
Yeah. Rusty, aka Matt Miller. I guess that's his real name.
Right. Yes, that's right. We did follow up. We need to maybe do a Jedi beat. I'm really scheduling you a lot of work you don't have time for, Jen. I love this. What does ADAT stand for? Yeah, it would have tripped you up. But there's something like, Joseph, what kept Cloud City suspended over Bespin? Magic. I don't know. What are you doing to me, Rusty?
Yeah, the Tabana gas? Like, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Alex.
The one I did when I had my podcast Obsessed early on, I did it live, and I did a Star Wars episode with like 3 other comedy theater pals, and I did some questions from Rusty Miller's book there. And the one that always blew my mind is, what 9 nicknames does Han Solo give to Princess Leia over the course of Star Wars and Empire Strikes Back? Yeah, I believe it's 9.
Yes, that's right.
Wow.
Oh, it's amazing.
Wow.
Yeah. Anyways, celebrating a Star Wars tradition, get your Jedi Masters quiz book today from an 11-year-old kid. Todd Royce says the world needs an A-Team and Star Wars mashup. We got to get on out here. Joseph's got a film to make, but we got some questions coming on here. We'll leave one for the film there. Joshua Bernard, who do you think is the more dangerous job, a Sith apprentice or drummer for Spinal Tap? It's very clearly for me a drummer for Spinal Tap, Jen.
Oh my gosh. I've never actually seen Spinal Tap, which
Ooh.
is shocking. I haven't, and I just heard an interview with the cast for the Spinal Tap 2. I really want to see it. It's on my
I
list.
just find it really difficult to believe that you were not a straight white comedy kid in the 90s. All right. You did not love Spinal
Required
Tap.
viewing. Yeah.
Required viewing, indeed.
Oh, I love my
Yeah, no,
baby.
Spinal Tap drummer is in much worse shape because fate will take them. They are cursed,
Mhm.
where Sith can actually make their own choices, but the Spinal Tap drummers are just cursed.
That's an excellent answer. And I did get to go see a screening of it. Not influenced. Tickets were
yeah.
paid for. We did not influence anything. And it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. The biggest takeaway was watching like old people in their 70s and 80s get to create and be artistic and be funny. That was, to me, one of the best things about the film. So check it out if you want out there. James Holmes says, curious, now, what action figure would Tony Gilroy be? He'd be a Monoman. That's what it is. He'd be a Monoman.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I would just want him to be like some really belligerently average person. I think, yeah, he's the guy who sells Tim Carlo his socks. Like, I think nothing fancy.
Gopal says, I had the Star Wars VHS box set from Costco back when it was still the Price Club. I used to watch it every after school in junior high. Oh, there's a double
Price
flashback.
Club.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Final question here. Thank you all for all the super chats here. We hit our super chat goal today. But Serenity Jane asked Joseph, will you be releasing the film at any festivals elsewhere? What is the update on that, sir?
Yeah, that's the goal. So basically, I scheduled the premiere in Minneapolis because I wanted to get the film done, and I wanted to have an event to be able to celebrate it with the friends and kind of test out doing a sort of a live show and kind of try to make it an event. And then from there, I need to find a sales agent, and I need to look into having it screened at festivals or screened at other places. But it's sort of like the premiere is the finish line for getting it made, and then I dive into really trying to sell it and make it as widely available as possible.
It's time for the show.
Oh my gosh.
It's time for the show to end because Franny, after about an hour of live streaming, comes whining into my office. So Joseph, thank you for sharing that.
Of course.
Franny, say hi to everybody. Yeah, nervous licks. We got to go outside and chase squirrels, blue jays, and cats. Thank you for the update, Joseph. Thank you, Jen, for your thoughts. A lot of fun today. We'll go live Friday, 2 p.m. We'll do some calls like we did. A little Force Center talk back. A lot of fun here from all of you out there. So, Jen, where can they find and follow you as we start to get on out of here?
You can see the real me on Instagram at Jennifer Landa, TikTok at Jennifer Landa 1138.
There you go. You can follow me at Ken Napzok. Go to my website, kennapzok.com. Blathering live every week. I got my Wednesday series called the Blathering Mailbag. I take a question from the audience, and they've all been pretty serious. This week's going to be perhaps the most serious one about politics, but it's also silly stuff as well. So, Joseph, take us home where they can follow you and more on your film.
Yeah, you can find me on all the social media at Joseph Scrimshaw, and you can find links pinned to my various social media sites for the premiere of Dead Media in Minneapolis, October 20th, with some pre-show entertainment from myself and Bill Corbett from Mystery Science Theater and Riff Tracks. Will be a post-show Q&A. If you're in Minneapolis, please join us, or if you have friends in the Minnesota area and want to let them know about it, that would be great.
There you go. Follow Force Center Pod. Look for us on Patreon if you'd like to support us directly at patreon.com/Force Center. Don't forget, the audio feed still goes strong. We broadcast all of these episodes there, of course, as well. We're a podcast first in our hearts. And on Sundays, we rebroadcast Databank Brawl up to episode 90. So check it out there. A lot of fun. Franny says goodbye. We'll see you all next time here on Force Center. Oh, bye-bye, Franny. Say bye-bye, Franny. Oh, that's a lot of licks. That's a lot of licks. Bye.